reach, stack, effective top tube, seat tube length, standover. If you've no idea what I'm on about, then keep watching, because in this video I'm going to explain the basics of bike sizing, then show you how to get the right size Merida bike for you, even if you don't understand any of that jargon. First up, you might well be thinking, why do you need the right sized bike anyway? Is it really that important? Well, yes it is. If the frame of the bike doesn't match with your physical frame, it just won't work very well. It'll be uncomfortable to ride, the handling will be bad, possibly even dangerous. Even being a single size too large can lead to real issues, as you could end up with an uncomfortable riding position that will put strain on your muscles and joints. Having a bike that's too small is equally dangerous. Being cramped on a bike frame can do just as much damage to your body, if you even fit on it, that is. It's also extremely bad for the bike's handling, thanks to the way it shifts the rider's centre of gravity. It's easy to hold an egg in the palm of your hand, it's less easy to balance it on a fingertip. You're the egg, by the way. Simply put, the right sized bike frame will allow you to ride in comfort for as long as you want. It'll deliver exactly the right mix of handling characteristics our designers intended, keeping you safe and putting a smile on your face, which is what riding is all about. First up, how do you measure yourself for a bike? Well, at Merida we try and keep things simple by using your overall height as the starting point. It's also pretty easy to understand, which isn't always the case when you get loads of different numbers thrown at you. These numerical sizes generally refer to the seat tube length, which is critical to giving you the correct, efficient riding position with the saddle up at a safe height. If the seat tube is too long, you won't have any space to fit over the bike when you have your feet on the floor. This is known as standover, and if it's too short, the seat post won't go up high enough for an efficient riding position. Your height, however, is just the starting point, as your arm length and leg length all play a factor in getting the fit correct. For example, I have relatively short legs but quite long arms for my height. That means I might be better off with a different frame size to someone who's exactly the same height as me that has, say, longer legs and shorter arms. This is where the reach of the bike, essentially how much space you have out in front of you, comes into play, as it has a very large effect on the handling of the bike as well as your fit. As frames go up in seat tube side, the reach also grows in order to keep the rider centred on the bike. The other element of frame sizing that changes as you go up in frame size is the stack, basically the height of the head tube at the front of the frame. Taller riders need a greater stack to prevent them being excessively bent over when riding, putting too much weight on the front end of the bike. Other bicycle geometry parameters such as head angle, seat tube angle and chainstay length all have a significant effect on handling, but they generally stay the same as you move through the frame sizes, so they aren't quite as crucial for getting the right size frame. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to surf over them here, but we'll cover them in depth in a later video. It's worth noting that if bike sizing wasn't complicated enough, it also varies between different types of bike. The main outliers here are mountain bikes, where you might choose a different size of frame because you like different handling characteristics. For example, some riders choose a larger frame size than their height alone would suggest, because they want a longer wheelbase for greater stability in rough terrain. This is why bikes such as our big trail range of hardtails have much shorter seat tubes than you'd expect for the stated size. It means a shorter rider can choose a larger frame size while still being able to physically fit on the bike, while taller riders can still have the right saddle height if they want a smaller frame size, thanks to long travel dropper seat posts. Sizing other different kinds of bikes also has its quirks, road racing bikes being a special example. But as a general rule, it's much more directly related to your height along with arm and leg length factored in. If you get the correct seat tube size, odds on your bike will fit well, or you can tweak it to fit well. It's possible to fine-tune the fit by altering the way the bike is set up, sliding the saddle back and forth on the rails, changing the height of bars by changing stem spacers, or even switching out the stem for a longer or shorter one. All of that can help you improve the fit, but it won't turn the wrong size frame into the right one. However, there are many occasions when you might be unsure which size frame you fall into, either because you fall between sizes or because your bodily proportions don't necessarily fit into what's considered the norm. While heading to a Merida dealer for an in-person sizing and bike fit is still the best way to get the correctly sized bike, that's not always possible for various reasons. That's why we've worked with the specialists at SmartFit to offer an online sizing tool. It takes data from thousands of in-person bike fits to give a personalised recommendation based around your own body measurements and a huge database of our bike geometries. Best of all, it's extremely easy to use and takes just minutes to use, as I'll show you now. All you're going to need is a tape measure and a computer. Okay, so first of all, you'll need to head to the Merida website, and then you'll need to navigate to the bicycle that you're interested in. Right, I rather fancy myself a Sculpture Endurance, so let's have a look at them here. And what about this lovely Sculpture Endurance 6000? I'll click on that, and then if you scroll down here to where the specifications and geometries are, you can of course look at the geometry figures, but if you're not sure what any of this means, then click on this helpful link here. Just click on Find Your Size. You'll then get this pop-up, which is the SmartFit calculator. So what I'll do now is I'll fill in my details. So I'm male, my body height is 172 centimeters. I can either type that in or use this slider. There we go. And once I've done that, I will click Continue. Now, SmartFit automatically suggests an average leg length for you based on your height, and this is the average figure that they're given here. But if you'd like to make the SmartFit calculation extra accurate, then you'll need your tape measure to fill in the correct number here. If you're unsure exactly how to take this measurement of your inner leg, then click Show Help here, and as you can see here, it will run you through what you need to do. Now, my leg measurement is 79 centimeters, so I'll put that in. There we go, and as you can see, it is slightly shorter than average. So now click Continue and we'll move on to arm length. Once again, there is a suggested average figure, but it'll be much more accurate if you put in the correct figures. If you're not sure again, then you can click on the help here and it will show you how to measure this number. Now I've done this and I know that I have strangely long arms at 60 centimeters. You can see arms longer than average. And now I will click Continue. And as you can see here, the SmartFit calculator suggests that I would be best off with a size small frame. But as you can see, it shows where I am inside that size. You can see I'm actually up at the upper limit here, so there is a good chance I will be able to fit on a medium as well. In fact, I know that to be true because I currently ride a size medium Sculpture or Endurance, mainly because I prefer a little bit of reach in the bike. Now, if we go out of here, SmartFit also works really well with children's bikes, which can often be very difficult to size because they grow so quickly and you don't know how long they'll be fitting on a certain bike. SmartFit is very useful here. So if we follow the same thing, click here, click the pop-up, and again put in a child's details here. So this is the 20-inch wheeled Mats J Plus. So if we go to a child of 113 centimeters tall, as you can see, it says that this size bike will actually fit a child of that height, and also that your child is growing into this size, which means that you should get a good bit of lifespan. Now, if you were to go back and select a different height, let's say 132 centimeters tall, it shows that this side will not fit your child because it's got the 20-inch wheel. However, the 24-inch wheeled Mats J will actually fit, so you'll be able to pick the correct bike for your child. As you can see, SmartFit takes an awful lot of the hassle and guesswork out of getting the right sized bike, without needing to be baffled with loads of numbers and different measurements. The SmartFit calculation is also specific to each Merida model, taking into account the specific geometry of the bike you're looking at rather than being a general recommendation, which makes it much more accurate. We will cover what the basic geometry measurements of a bike mean in depth in another video, but in the meantime, if you found this useful, feel free to give us a like. For more videos like this and to stay posted on all things Merida, make sure you subscribe using the link here. Thanks for watching and goodbye.